Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Five Star Revolution podcast with your host, CJ Price. Go follow us on Facebook right now, Five Star Revolution Podcast, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Five Star Revolution Podcast. Tonight is our biggest interview to date. Tonight we have a former WWF Intercontinental Champion, Ahmed Johnson. How you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for joining us here tonight. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
So my first question for you is, how'd you get into this world of professional wrestling?
Just messing around, and Ivan Putski was training, had a school here in Houston, and I just went and decided to join.
And what made you get into the wrestling business? Like, were you a fan growing up, or
I used to watch it a little bit growing up, back when Dick the Bruiser and Nikita Koloff and all them were wrestling.
okay, okay. So what made you like? I know you were a part of independent wrestling, right? Before you got into
Right,
WWF. Can you
right.
talk a little bit about that?
Oh yeah, I started off. My first big show was in Global. I was wrestled on the name Modib, the Nubian Terror, and Black Superman, and a couple other names. And man, it was fun. You know, you paid your dues. You didn't get paid but $20, but you paid your dues.
So, did you meet anyone in those independent wrestling promotions before you became a WWF superstar?
Oh yeah, John Hawk, Michael Hayes. Who else? And there's a bunch of guys that were there because you usually didn't get to the WWE unless you went through Global. Global was like the training grounds. And Michael Hayes had a match with me one time, one night, and then he said, "Hey man, I'm gonna get you up in the WWF." And I was like, "Yeah, I've heard that before, you know." And then turn around, look, and he did it.
So, let's talk about a little bit about the Ahmed Johnson character. You mind explaining a little bit what Ahmed Johnson was about, who he was?
Um, I don't know. You know what? When I came out, they never told me the whole time if I was a baby face or heel. They never told me. They just threw me out there and just seeing what the audience would do. And the audience took to me like water,
I
you
remember watching
know.
you as a little kid, man, with the red trunks and the red elbow pads and
Oh
stuff.
yeah, slamming Big Yokozuna.
Yep, yep, that was awesome, man. You were like the second guy to do that, right?
Yeah, I don't know if Lex Luger that was a slam, man. If you look at it, it was more like a hip toss with Lex, and Yoko was 100 pounds lighter then. He was 100 pound heavier when I did it.
Wow. So that was all raw power. That was no help.
No, no help at all.
Wow,
No
man.
help. He told me before I went out that they didn't like new guys, and here I was the newbie, and they didn't like newbies coming in, and he told me before I went out that he wasn't going to help me. I
So
mean, he
let's
told
talk.
me straight up.
So let's talk a little bit about when you first came in. You started dominating, man. You rose pretty quickly in WWF. I
Yeah,
remember,
yeah,
and you became Intercontinental Champion in less than a year.
right.
So I'm imagining there was a little bit of jealousy backstage.
Oh my, a little bit, a whole lot. And the thing funny about it, it still is a lot of jealousy going on. I mean, you got wrestlers that are still upset at me because I became the first black champion, and they feel they should have been the first black champion. But hey, Vince call it like he sees it.
So I also remember as a little kid you carrying around a huge 2x4. Can you talk a bit about that?
Yeah, that was one of Vince's gimmicks. He wanted to try that since the nation was always jumping me from behind and everything, and there was nobody with me but me. And nation, you got five dudes, you know. So we got the 2x4 to kind of even things off.
That was awesome, man. You used to whip everybody's ass every Monday night with that 2x4.
Oh yeah.
And then you had a few with Farouk, right?
Oh yeah. That was the nation, and Ahmed was, the highlight or the semi highlight of every match we had. Everybody wanted to see the nation against Ahmed, and that's what they got. Nation against Ahmed.
So at the end of it all, you ended up joining the Nation of Domination.
Big mistake. Big mistake. Because Vince put me with him, but once he looked at that team and seeing how powerful that team was, he was like, "Who can I got to take Ahmed out because the team's too powerful." He said, "Who's gonna believe that Ahmed and can be beat with the nation?"
Do you
Me, Ron Simmons, and the rest of the crew, and it was just too much power for one team.
do you still talk to any of those guys?
No, not really.
Anyone from WWF at all?
Yeah, I still speak to Rikishi, and I speak to Savio sometime, and a few other people.
Okay, all right, cool. Have they,
Savio's my man.
has WWE ever contacted you lately to do like a DVD or anything like that?
No, they pissed at me, man.
Why is that?
Got to when I left. No, they were mad when I left.
Did you get released or did you end up going to WCW on your own?
I left for my own. I wouldn't plan on going to WCW. I just left for my own because I was having some personal problems
Okay.
that I was dealing with. A death in the family and a few other things. And so I left for my own because my demons were getting to me.
So let's backtrack to your Intercontinental title run. Who came up to you to tell you that you were going to win the title? Was it Vince himself or Michael Hayes?
Um, Man, who told me? I don't remember. I don't remember who told me.
Okay, well, how'd you feel when that person told you, "Hey, you're next up to win the Intercontinental title"?
Well, I was happy. Becoming the first African American to do it, oh, I was happy, man.
And you got that match against Goldust, right?
Yeah.
How was that feud for you? I remember that.
Oh man, it was a trip. Goldust is a hilarious, man.
I
He
heard
was,
he, I heard he
huh?
got pissed off because he kissed you on the lips.
Yeah. At first, I did. In the practicing that we practiced it. And he wasn't supposed to do that, and he did that on his own. And I was like, oh man, when I get up off this stretcher, boy, gonna be hell to pay.
So he did that kind of as a rib.
Yeah, big time.
So after you won the title with him, how long did you carry that belt for? Like 9 months?
Yeah, about 9 months before I got hurt.
Oh, so you lost it due to injury, not to
Yeah.
because.
No, I never. Nobody ever beat me for it.
So you're
I
still technically the champion.
To me, I'm still technically the Intercontinental Champion. Nobody's ever taken the belt from me.
Do you still have a replica of that belt?
Yeah, I got a replica of it.
Oh, nice, nice. I thought that was fake when WWE would send the talent a replica of their belt that they won.
Yeah, I got one.
Nice. So, what's Ahmed Johnson doing nowadays? Are you still involved in the wrestling business?
No, I'm chilled out, man. Just chilled out. I'm working for an oil company. So right now, with this COVID out, just kind of sitting at home doing what I got to do.
So you don't do wrestling at all? No, no wrestling conventions, no meet and greets, nothing like that.
No, I haven't been out doing that, man, since I left, basically. So nah.
Can you talk a little bit about your WCW run? How that was like?
Oh, that was a mistake also, man. I shouldn't have did it because I wasn't in shape to do it. I mean, I have been sitting at home chilling, getting fat, enjoying myself. And then I got a call from Stevie Ray and Vince Russo, and I figured I'd come down there. And at first I said, nah, I wasn't going to do it. Then I said, well, this is my boy Stevie Ray, so I just I'll go ahead and do it. So I went and did it, knowing I was out of shape and I wasn't fit to wrestle.
And you were a tag team with him as the new Harlem Heat, right?
Right, Harlem Heat 2000.
Okay. How was that run for you guys? Like, did you guys? I didn't watch WCW at that time, so I don't
Hmm.
remember if you guys won the titles or not.
No, we never won the titles.
Okay. So, what would you say is your biggest accomplishment in your wrestling career besides the Intercontinental title?
Um, Being the first African American to open up doors for the minorities, because there was, really no minority champions until I won. And then when Vince seen that, hey, he can make money off the minorities, there was, me, and then there was so on and so on and so on. Until now, you got the Bobby Lashley, who's won all the belts.
So,
Now it's more power to him.
do you still watch the product nowadays?
Not really. If I happen to be turning, I might watch a match or two. But I'm just not into this these days, man. The way they wrestle.
You don't like it?
No, not the way they do it these days. It's too soap operish. And every match is a main event. It seems like you don't they don't build up to it no more like they used to. And then no dinosaurs, like they used to be when I was coming up. You had some tough dudes, man, coming through there when I was coming up. But you know, Bob Lashley's about as tough as it get, as far as I seen. He could have been there with us.
So, how can you describe the backstage area in WWF at that time when you were there?
Everybody had their cliques. You roll with your clique, and you hung out with your clique, and that was about the way it ran. It wasn't all that love and kumbaya. It was worse than when we got out in the ring. Everybody had their little favorites, and Shawn Michaels and his little clique was running things back then.
Did you guys get along?
Who?
You and Shawn Michaels.
Oh no. Oh no. No, I didn't really ever really talk to him, unless it was something about a match or something. And I remember him calling me to the office once and telling me that I'm doing too many high flying moves, and that's for the little guys like him. And they were getting jealous because I was diving over the ropes and doing things that they would do, and I was doing it at 340 or 50 pounds. So
I
they
remember
didn't like
I
that.
remember you jumping over the top ropes and doing shoulder blocks and doing
Hmm.
spinning wheel kicks and stuff like that. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, they didn't like that too much because they didn't want them to think a big man could do that. They wanted you to do bear hugs and all that unnecessary stuff.
So how'd you feel about that when Shawn Michaels told you, "Hey, stop doing my stuff"?
I didn't give a shit what he said. I still did it, whether he liked it or not. He should just live with it.
That's funny, bro. That's really funny. So who besides Shawn Michaels, who else was an asshole backstage?
Um, well, the whole cliques had their their enemies backstage. I didn't have any problem with anybody but Sean. As far as I didn't have any problem with Diesel or Razor or anybody except
Well,
Shawn Michaels.
I heard a little rumor that you and D'Lo Brown had a little heat backstage. Is that true?
Man, you know what? I don't know where D'Lo get that from or where that came from. D'Lo supposed to put me in a full Nelson or something, and backstage. And if D'Lo had beat my ass backstage, don't you think, number one, you'd have heard about it way before now? That's what you talking 1970 something, and he just now saying it. You would have heard it way before now. It would have been in the magazines and every place else. I don't know where D-Lo got that from, man. And that's what little chumps do, man. That's when you wrestle for 20 years and don't get a damn push except as a jobber. He was just an overpaid jobber, man. That's all he was. And then
Mr.
you got
Ahmed,
the
Mr. Ahmed
whole.
Johnson, do you mind explaining a little bit about the Pearl River Plunge? What was that about?
I learned that when I was in Japan. When I was in Japan, I learned that from Kendo. He taught me that move and a few other moves. And then I got in there and got one day with Al Snow, man. And he taught me more in that one day than most people taught me in 3 months. Al Snow was one hell of a trainer, man.
I like Austin. He was a great wrestler and very underrated.
Very, very underrated. I mean, him, Bob Holly, um, who else was underrated? The Godwins. There was a bunch of guys that was underrated, man, that should have been up there. Even I'll even say, even before I was there, they should have been there because
So
they was
who?
just that good.
So who's your favorite wrestler to work with when you were in WWF?
I have to say Vader because Vader hit you hard, bro. And he hit you, and you know you've been hit. But I was cool with that because I didn't mind hitting him back. You know, he came at me hard, and I went back at him hard. And afterwards, we shook hands, and we're the best of friends. So I didn't have a problem with Vader hitting me, and me hitting him back because he didn't cry and complain. If you did that to anybody else, man, they would have been telling Vince big time.
Yeah, I do remember reading you being a little stiff in the
Oh
ring.
yeah. I wasn't stiff, man. That's just the way, I work. You know what the funny part about that is? In WCW, not one guy ever complained and said I was stiff. And in WWF, you got people saying I was stiff. And I'm saying, I don't get it. Is the WCW tougher than WWF? I don't get the comparisons. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
How can one group say you're stiff and another group say, hey man, that felt good. That was just right. Even Hulk Hogan with his racist ass told me, he said, brother, your punches, when they came at me, I was scared. I thought you were gonna kill me. But those were some of the best punches I ever took. And that came from, Hogan. I don't want
Okay.
to say his name too much. I don't want to give him too much airtime.
So I also remember I remember you going to Survivor Series, I believe, for a match. I think it was one of those classic Survivor Series tag team matches, and you won, I believe, right?
Yeah, we won Survivor Series.
Yeah. How was that? How was that moment for you? Because you were still a rookie at that time.
Oh, that was good, man. That was real good. I'm trying to think who my tag team partners was. Was it Yoko and Jake the Snake?
I believe so. I believe so.
Well, that was good. Just to be in the ring with a legend like Jake, man, is saying a lot.
Right.
It's saying a whole lot.
So I don't like I said, I don't remember watching WCW when you were in it. How did that run come to an end?
Um, I just got tired of being out of shape and being there unprofessionally. That I shouldn't have been in there. I shouldn't have went until I got in shape. So I quit to take some time off to get in shape. And then once I got in shape, the thing was on this last leg. They were finna end.
And how was the backstage environment in WCW?
It was pretty cool, man. I mean, everybody was it was more of a masculine feeling backstage. You know, it was more of every man basically for himself, but they didn't talk, behind your back and talk crap about you.
Okay. A couple more questions for me, Mr. Ahmed Johnson, then I'll let you go. So, if there's one thing you wish you knew before you started wrestling for WWF, what would that be?
Um, what would that be? That's a good question, man. You asked some good questions. What would it be? Um, that I wish I probably would have trained a little more, got trained a little more before I went in. Although the fans loved me and loved my moves, I just wish I would have trained a little bit more for me.
You also had a great theme song.
Yeah, people love that theme song, man.
I love that theme song, man. I used to play WWF Warzone on PlayStation, and always used to use you because you had a great theme song. Plus, your finisher was dope, man. The Pearl Road Plunge with the power bomb. That was awesome. So you did that move like with raw power to even to the bigger guys?
Yeah, I power bombed everybody. Everybody. I was gonna power bomb Vader, but he didn't want to do it. He was scared to do it. He was scared I wasn't gonna be able to get him up. I told him, I can get you up. If I got Yoko up, I can get you up. But he didn't want to get me to yank him up like that, so I didn't.
And my last question for you, Mr. Ahmed Johnson, is if there's one thing you want to tell the fans that you couldn't do tell them while you were in WWF, what would that be?
First of all, stop believing that crap that only the nation is talking about. D-Lo, knee up, and no, the only person saying it is the nation. So I guess I was in a room locked up with five of the Nation of Domination people backstage. So quit believing that hype. And number two, man, I appreciate all your support, even now. I mean, my internet is blowing up still, and I just appreciate everything they've done for me. And I appreciate people like y'all, man, with the podcast that gives you a chance to, shout out and tell the stories like it is.
I have one more request, if you don't mind me asking. You mind telling us one funny road story or one funny backstage story that you might have for us?
Um, Man, there's so many of them. The one I used to tell about Owen. I was on when I was really hot during WrestleMania. Owen, and I would pay ribs on me, him and Davey Boy. And one time I got a phone call in my room, and they said it was the David Letterman show. So I got on the phone, and they was like, "This Mr. Norris?" I was like, "Yes, this is the Dave Letterman show. We'd like to have you on." It was the day before the match, and everything was cool. And I like, that's cool. Yeah, I'll be glad to come. So I went out, and got some new duds and brought a nice watch and just pimped out to the T. And then I went outside waiting for the limo. While I'm waiting for the limo, on Davey comes out, which I should have known something was up then. And On and Davey come out, and they're laughing, and they're just laughing. And On laughed so hard he fell in the bushes. And then when they got done, Owen somebody came out and told me, man, ain't no David Letterman show. That was Owen that called you. I was like, you dirty little dog. But it was Owen Hart that called me and told me it was the David Letterman show.
God bless his soul, man.
Yeah. Damn, Bam Bam passed away today, too.
Bam Bam Bigelow?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that. Thanks for telling me, man. Rest in
Yeah.
peace. Wow.
It sure
Wow.
did, man.
That's sad, man. Wow. Well, Mr. Ahmed Johnson, thank you so much for joining us right here on the Five Star Revolution podcast. It was a true pleasure. You're the biggest interview I've done so far, so thank you so much. I
No
appreciate
problem.
it. I know you're not active in the wrestling world anymore, but if you have any social media you want to plug or anything you want to plug on the show, go right ahead, sir.
No, I'm good, man. My Netflix is already blown up. I'm good.
All right, man. Thanks so much for joining us right here. And you listeners, don't forget to join us right on Facebook, Five Star Revolution Podcast. Ahmed Johnson, the former WWF Intercontinental Champion. Thank you.
Yeah.